I sincerely hope, along with my colleagues at the AHC Foundation, that the information presented in these next 2 days will provide you with what you need to not only survive this life, but thrive in it. My name is Joshua Marszalek, for those of you who don't know. I'm an AHC parent to 10-year-old Catherine. I'm a father also to her brother Levi. My wife Laura graciously holds down the house while I volunteer.
Oh, Josh, you just muted yourself.
I don't know why that's happening.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
So my wife Laura graciously holds down the house while I volunteer all my free time as the foundation president. Welcome to the 2021 AHC Foundation virtual family meeting, Zooming to End AHC. A whole bunch of planning goes into this kind of thing, even at the virtual level. We normally have an in-person meeting, but even with the virtual meeting, so much goes into this. So I'd like to recognize the folks who have worked really hard on our behalf. Sharon Chikadacola, Kelly Andrasco, Heather Gates, Kate Cohen, Carol Prasunka, Jackie Sanchez, and Lynn Egan were all the committee who had brought this virtual meeting together. And it's a huge undertaking. In addition to the people who planned this meeting, all the speakers that you're going to hear from this weekend are volunteering all their time. So much appreciation goes out to our presenters so that we can have a good family meeting. A few housekeeping notes. Please keep yourself muted throughout the conference. There will be people monitoring the chat for questions, and we will answer as many pertinent ones as possible. All the presentations are being recorded. If someone in your household wants to be in another Zoom room, like a sibling session or similar, they need to have a separate registration. It's quick and easy, just take a minute to do it. The importance of this is if they go with your link to another room, they will take you with them. So keep that in mind throughout the weekend. Registration is open and it will remain open all weekend. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what the foundation does for you on behalf of everybody. So since 1993, nearly 28 years, the AHC Foundation has been working. We've been working to discover AHC. From hijacking neurology conferences and baiting scientists into side discussions with refreshments, to creating a clinical diagnosis method, to gene discovery through a huge community effort in 2012. We've been working on behalf of the AHC community. We've been working to understand what is happening to our children. It is the gene discovery that really propelled research. It focused attention to a particular area of the body, rather than looking all around the various affected parts. The foundation has funded research that led to a better understanding of the negative effect the mutation has. A tiny sodium pump in the neuron that many of us didn't even know was there. High school biology, even the placement classes, didn't cover sodium potassium ion pumps. Research becomes more focused through all of these insights. The foundation initiated support and education programs, built a directory for families to connect, and continues to utilize social media to share and teach each other in the medical community about our children and AHC. All to understand and make others understand, to educate. The foundation has been working to seek out treatments. Without getting into all the specifics that our presenters will, I'd like to discuss a bit about the AHC Foundation's approach to our mission. We've had a strategy shift in the recent years from let's fix what's broken to let's replace it. Until the last couple of years, we've been looking at what's broken and asking about how to fix it or how to repair it. This involves a lot of discovering as to why and how something is broken. And so much energy can be spent on the plethora of rabbit holes of exploration that this method can produce. In recent years, thanks to advances in science and the cost of science coming down in some ways, we've been able to consider replacing the broken part without needing to understand why it's broken. This is simplistic, so you researchers, I have to forgive my simple metaphor, but to use an automotive metaphor, instead of looking at a broken engine and asking why it broke and how best to repair that particular engine, we can consider the effect of just taking that engine out of the car and putting in a new one in its place. Then if we choose, we can dissect that old engine and seek out the whys and hows while our kids and families live their lives. As a parent, I can tell you now that if we get a new engine, we will leave behind the broken into the past and leave it to the curious. We have a life to live. While there are many questions about AHC and its mechanics, some key questions we're asking at this moment are: what happens if we turn the bad copy of the gene off? What happens if we turn that bad copy off? Does the negative effect of the mutation go away? What happens if we flood the cell with good copies of the gene and replace the bad copies as cells divide and regenerate? Transgene therapy, what we've been calling the AAV project, seeks to answer just that question. What happens if we spell check the gene and edit out the errors? Our collaboration with David Liu at Harvard is trying to do just that, correcting the error in the code. Does any of this have effect on our kids? It should, it will. If it is a positive to correcting AHC, does it poison them in other ways? The toxicology phase of any of these experiments will address this question. Another question we're currently asking are there any more issues that will be revealed after we clear away this big one in ATP183? In other words, does correcting one gene cascade through the entire disease? And that is the working hypothesis. Our mission at the foundation reads like this: through research, education, and family support, we have one mission: end AHC. We strive at the foundation to align all we do with these three pillars. Research. I've touched on a few key questions to which we are already seeking answers. We've developed our relationships with other organizations to form strong collaborations that can only propel our mission forward. You will hear specifics on some of these projects in the next 2 days. In our education pillar, we host family meeting just like this one every other year. In fact, since COVID put us off of our schedule, we're planning our next in-person meeting for next year. I think it's currently in LA. We support and participate in the annual ATP183 Research Symposium to educate ourselves. This informs our decisions. It also provides us with a lot of information that we get to share to the community to continue to educate through our mission. Family support, we remain a critical first contact to newly diagnosed families. We orient families to the community, connecting them with other families in proximity and introducing them to the support group in Facebook. Connecting families to clinicians, including Dr. S, Dr. Svoboda, and Dr. Makati. We seek to connect them to answers, especially in the new early days of diagnosis. We remain at the ready for critical support in crisis, connecting neurologists to discuss their terms and any given AHC crisis. Our family support committee is readily available to discuss your needs and concerns. We support you in your fundraising when requested. When you're ready, after being diagnosed, or if you've been diagnosed for many years, if you're ready to contribute to the foundation, we have some pretty great tools for you to use to help with the arduous task of fundraising. We have a lot of experience in the foundation from which to draw. Ask us about just about any event, and I'm sure we can find you some answers. You can see in our statement that we are in the business of putting ourselves out of business. I sincerely hope that within the next 10 years, our mission is complete, and we are doing one of two things. we are shuttering our foundations for lack of need, or our mission changes into one of mere connection, connecting families newly diagnosed with a treatment center where they can receive their new part and motor on, catching up with the rest of us already made new through the Herculean efforts of the last 20 years. I hope that this weekend we all find a morsel or three that we can take back to our lives and improve our quality of life while we wait for this cure. Welcome to the family meeting.